Hey everyone, welcome to the Yuri On Ice after show here on AfterBuzz TV. Season 1, Episode 5, wait for it, Face Beat Red. It's the competition, the Shikoku, and Kyushu Championship, and Episode 6, China's on the Grand Prix Series opening event, the Cup of China short program. Whew, I did it. We'll be breaking down the episodes and talking about all the amazing stuff that happened in them in just a moment.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
I think that might be the extent of my being able to pronounce Japanese for this episode. So if I mess up every title from now on, it's
I think you did great.
Yeah, I feel like I fulfilled my quota. I'm impressed with me. I hope other people are too.
We're very impressed.
Hey guys, welcome to the Yuri On Ice after show here on AfterBuzz TV. If you have not done so already, please go over to iTunes, subscribe to us there, give us a listen. You can download it and bring all the Yuri On Ice love with you on the go while you're walking your dog or driving to work or school or working on art projects.
Or skating.
Or skating, exactly. Though if you are listening on iTunes, remember you can also watch us on YouTube. So you can see things like Mark Donica gracefully backing away from his microphone. And you can also watch us live on YouTube. We stream live on Mondays at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, which is happening at this very moment. So we are, of course, following along with that live chat. And if you are watching on YouTube, give us that thumbs up, leave us comments. We love hearing from you guys. Allow me to introduce my fabulous panel, all reunited here once again. Alexis Torres, back from the scary eastern seaboard.
It was so cold over there. I actually got to walk across some ice. I didn't get to ice skate, and it was kind of nice, and I was like, I can't do this. But I also, my mom, I want to give her a shout out because she picked up an awesome jacket for me. She was like, hey, I know that ice skating anime you love? Yeah, I found a jacket you might like. And I was like, I love you, mama.
I love that she knew enough that she was like, oh, tigers are a thing. And then
yeah, because she was watching the anime with me. But you can find me all over social media and my mom finding me really cute shit at, sorry.
That's okay, it's going to happen.
We're talking about Chris. You get first.
That's true. Okay, good. You can find me all over social media at atorres890.
Stacey Shuttleworth.
Hi guys, I'm Stacey Shuttleworth. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Stacey Shuttles or on everywhere at Nerds Doing Stuff.
Mark Donica.
And the internet's Mark B. Donica. You find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. This show is remarkable. This after show is remarkable. Our viewers are remarkable.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful experience, and I love getting a chance to rewatch all of this. This is magical.
And I'm Emma Fyffe. I can be found all over the internet wherever Emma Fyffes are sold at my name, Emma Fyffe. A couple of reminders. Number one, in addition to following along with the live chat, we are also following that hashtag YuriABTV on Twitter. We've gotten a lot of really great interaction there with you guys. Dalton tweeted us some lovely Yuri On Ice boy short briefs.
Why didn't you include me on that tweet?
Because they're
For ladies.
Yeah, even though they're boy shorts, that is a form of women's underwear, in case anybody didn't know.
Naturally.
Also, we are talking about episodes 5 and 6. We will not spoil anything beyond episodes 5 and 6, though we know that many of our viewers, as all of us have as well, have seen all the way through the finale, episode 12. And another slight disclaimer, there's going to be involuntary cursing. It's just going to happen.
Sorry, I already started.
I know. And given some of the subject matter of the second of these two
Adult
episodes
content. We're talking about adult content.
Yeah, I think it's...
Children go to bed.
It's fine. It's fine.
Especially if you're Dragon Ball Z fans.
Yeah. Ouch. But
You
also,
gotta bring that back, didn't you?
definitely really, really true. Okay, so let's start with episode 5. So basically, at the end of episode 6, everyone's gotten their assignments, or at the end of episode 4.
Dear God.
Guys, you guys might not know this, but I work in tourism, and I have not had a day off since before Christmas, so this is going to be a great episode. But anyway, so yes, at the end of episode 4, everybody gets their assignments for where they're going to be skating in the Grand Prix final, series of competitions. But before that, because Yuri did so poorly the previous year, he has to go to, a local skating competition in Fukuoka, which is sort of it's probably the biggest, or certainly most major city, in Kyushu, which is the, big island at the bottom of Japan. And basically, it's this episode is the first time that we get to see him do his entire free skate program that he was working on in the last episode.
Yeah.
But before that, basically, he's it's also the first time that we're seeing like Victor making his like public appearance as his coach, which was kind of a plot point in the episode of like how Victor chose to dress for his first public appearance.
Very big deal.
It was.
Very
It was.
important.
Well, because I mean, and again, it's one of those things where you just kind of see that because of the sort of spectacle of Yuri's big comeback, we're seeing just like this huge amount of attention being placed on Japanese figure skating in a way that it's sort of implied that maybe it wasn't really necessarily like that before. And at the same time, it also kind of reminds us, seeing Yuri interact with his juniors in this competition, that he is a really big deal.
Yep.
He's the top.
Yeah.
He's the number one skater in Japan.
Yeah. And
That-
so, like, it's like, even though he did so poorly and he's coming from such a, like, sad, like, not confident place, we do get to see here that, like, oh, no, he's a really, really big deal.
Yeah.
Especially to the new skater that we are officially introduced to in this episode.
I love him.
Though we did see him, we were reminded in the end of the last episode that at the Japanese Nationals, because Yuri screwed up so badly, this 17-year-old kid, Kenjiro Minami, actually outscored him. But Minami also seems to be very aware that like that was just a fluke, and he like really looks up to Yuri, and it was super duper cute. I don't know.
I
You guys,
loved it.
yeah, you want to talk a little more about Minami and his preciousness?
He's adorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way, I mean, it's also kind of a fresh pair of eyes looking at how people view Yuri, too. Again, his unreliable narration comes into play. 'Cause it's like, hey, here's someone who really looks up to you and actually looks to how you skate and how, you work as an inspiration and as something to strive for. Which, Yuri doesn't give the impression that anybody would look up to him.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, with Minami and Yuri being there and all the other young skaters that you see, and they're like really young. They're like representing this high school. Oh boy. I'm telling you guys, there is nothing like professional sports, particularly those that you see in the Olympics, to make you feel like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
I have accomplished nothing. But yeah, and so it's like you sort of see again like this chain reaction of Minami's enthusiasm for Yuri is so contagious that it like really spreads to the other skaters as well.
And Minami sort of represents the fans.
Yeah.
Like truly represents the viewers, and it was fun to get that sort of breaking the fourth wall. And like Corinne Yeast is saying in chat, can't believe that he's 17.
Yes.
Right.
He looks like he's 11, and Yurio is 15.
Yeah.
And
That's
it's like
ridiculous.
that he's like 18, and I'm like, what's
And
happening?
Victor's 2 years older than Yuri. Like it's really bizarre how ages work in this. And I just want to say, there were, back when the show was sort of in the middle of its run, there were these quizzes about what character are you in Yuri On Ice. And
Take this quiz.
for some
gotta take
reason,
it too.
when I took the test, I got Minami. For some reason. For some reason.
Robbie, too.
I am a big Brian Setzer fan, so maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. Well, and like Minami, it's true. He does. He like kind of represents the audience in like a few ways, and that he is rooting for Yuri so much, even though they are facing off against each other. He's totally rooting for him. On top of that, his short program is supposed to basically be a copy of Yuri's short program when he was that age.
Yeah.
It's like when he's like, look, I even wore the thing. It's like what you wore. It's like, that's from my dark past. You don't have a dark past.
That's why I love him so much, is because of the fact that he's like, no, you don't have a dark past.
Yeah.
You should, don't make fun of me for the fact that I admire you. And I was like,
That's a
this
great
is what
line.
I
That's
love.
a great line.
It is.
And I think something interesting about this episode too is because we got a chance to see Yuri from other eyes.
Yes.
Was it just me, or did it look like he was animated differently? That he was drawn differently? 'Cause
Yeah.
When
Yes.
Minami is looking at him approach, it looks like a completely different person.
Yeah.
Like full of confidence, full of like power, strength, all this. And I don't think that was just from him prepping. Like we got to see how he looked in Minami's eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally agree with you, Mark. And again, it comes back to that, like, you know, for the most part, we're seeing everything from Yuri's perspective, and there is that idea that we've been introduced to, which really solidifies itself later on in the series, of him being the unreliable narrator. I mean, any individual person is going to be an unreliable narrator because you're always influenced by what's going on in your head. And so much of this show we're seeing from the point of view of Yuri, like, having all these doubts and things in his head. So then to turn it on Minami for a moment, looking at Yuri as this godlike figure whom he just absolutely worships is incredible. And you know, and basically, so they all like draw numbers for when they're gonna skate, and Yuri gets number 1, which he's not happy about. But then, you know, he skates his Eros program, and you know, he's still doing the sexy Katsudan, like, I am the beautiful woman.
I love that.
He's still using Atashi at this point.
Remember, he said, remember, you're a pork cutlet bowl fatale
that enthralls men.
Yes. I love when he says that he like pushes away,
push away the other man and run to the hands of the other one. It's like,
yes.
Get it, girl.
You go, Yuri.
Get it, girl.
His little like internal monologue as he skates that program.
But I also like that all the skaters have their own, not like huge monologue, but I mean, we've seen all the skaters at this point. Like, we're like, the stories that you come up with in episode 6 is ridiculous.
I'm so excited to talk about episode 6.
But like, I love that it's not just Yuri, even though he is the main voice of this show. Yeah. I love that we get to see every time when a skater skates, we get to see what they're exactly feeling. In the moment.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, there is in this episode in particular, there is that kind of like overarching theme of like, how do you motivate yourself and like being kind to your peers? Because basically, like, Minami is so excited by how unbelievable, you know, Yuri's Eros program is, even though like he missteps a little. He doesn't end up scoring over 100, even though Victor's like, you didn't have any pressure, you should have easily scored over 100.
Thanks for the motivation.
Yeah, exactly. No, Victor's
thanks, jerk.
Still learning to coach.
He is still learning to coach. Yeah, and we definitely see that he is still trying to figure it out. I mean, from the point of view of like choreographing programs and things, like, obviously he's a little more adept at that, having actual experience with that, and having, of course, been a top figure skater himself. But yeah, the coaching thing, there's like this other part of it.
We're not quite there yet.
This is also the first time we got to see from Victor's perspective, and we got to hear Victor's inner monologue like in an extended period of time, which opened up, it really made you feel, God, and I'm just thinking of when he hits his stupid head.
Just every time spins right into the media.
So bad. But it helps you identify. It helps you identify with what the target of the skating is.
Yeah, definitely.
And speaking to that end, last episode we were talking about the animation when he was talking about what Yuri thought the Eros was, the story. So we got a comment from Sachi Momo in chat on the page. Said, I really love the discussion on noting the whole art used in the 3rd episode for the Eros story with the Playboy. It was actually Sayo Yamamoto's an homage to Lotte Reininger, a German animator whose cutout puppet-like animation was used for the 1962 film The Adventures of Prince Ahmed. And Crunchyroll has an article that explains the whole thing. So go ahead and check that out.
Nice.
Thank you to Sachi Momo for throwing that out to us.
That's fantastic. Awesome. I still see Utena shadow puppets, but I would believe it if those were inspired by that as well. But anyway, I mean, and so as you say, it's like you get to see Yuri skating from Victor's perspective as well, and I think one of the things to me that like spoke to me so much about this episode was this idea of like Victor wanting Yuri to be nice to Minami, not just because like you should be nice to people, but also like Victor wanting Yuri to view himself the way that Minami views Yuri. And because like, for example, Minami is like so inspired by Yuri that he's like, I'm gonna try this jump I've never done in my free skate. It's like, what?
Why would you do that?
And then all the other skaters are like, yeah, we're gonna do that too. It's so great. Just that, again, it's the youth who has never had like the major failure. They're just like it's just everything to them is possibility, and Yuri represents what they want to become.
It's nice that we can see the effects of Yuri's mindset on other people,
right?
Because of his depression, for lack of a better word, and just low self-image. In this one is when he started to have fun.
Yes. This is the part he says.
It's like halfway. I even forget what it was, but I started to have fun again, and it being reminded of where he is and his standing. And I liked Victor's line a lot of how can somebody believe in himself if he doesn't believe in others.
It's just like the line of like a lot of people saying that if you can't love another person so much if you don't love yourself, kind of thing. So it kind of reminded me of that, but it makes sense because it's like why sit there and try to see this person who really cares about you and wants to aspire to be you or greater than you, and you're like
and it's like, don't be dismissive of that feeling, because that feeling comes from somewhere. That comes from something that they have seen in you that you need to see in yourself.
Just like how you see me as like Yuri looks at Victor, you should have, if people are going to be in that same boat as you, like you should embrace that.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. But the sort of the main one of the other really big things in this episode that I really love is the press conference that happens at the end after Yuri wins the event. Not surprisingly, he wins by a very large margin. Though Minami's boogie was very cute.
I loved it. It was like he was like tap dancing, but when it was like on ice, and it was
fun.
But you also saw where Yuri had to start. And the level that he said, he reminds me of the skater that I was. And seeing that, being able to have Yuri recognize that, puts that in our mind of, oh, so this is like a program he used to do. And then seeing the Yuri on Ice program is like, wow.
And we also see Victor kind of seeing some of himself in Yuri as well when Yuri does the free skate and does everything Victor told him not to do.
And rebellious.
Exactly. He's like,
where did he get that from? I wonder who.
Good question.
And it's not even like Victor feels like, oh, I taught him that. He's just like, I'm like that too. So there is a little bit of like self-discovery on Victor's part as well. But at the end, after Yuri wins, they're basically, he's definitely advancing into the Grand Prix final series at this point. And so they he's being interviewed, and he kind of talks about what his theme for the season is going to be. And I mean, he decided on it in the last episode, the On My Love theme, and he basically explains that he felt like up to this point he was fighting alone. And even though he's always had the support of his family and friends, he really does. He has this wonderful support system, but they don't really get what he's doing. And the thing to me that just really stands out about this is when he's talking about Victor and how he and Victor even says when Yuri is skating the free skate, he's finally discovered something like love. And that is basically exactly what Yuri says, where he's like, I don't know what love is, but I've never felt what I feel about Victor for anyone, so I'm calling it love. Like, he says that Victor is the first person that I've wanted to hold on to, so I'm calling that love. And first of all, another little side note, so and I don't know how this comes across in the dub necessarily, but in the show, anytime Yuri and Victor are talking to each other, they're supposed to be speaking English. Because it's kind of a just common language. And so when Yuri's being interviewed by the Japanese press, he's speaking Japanese. So that's why when he's like, basically makes this like declaration of like, of love essentially for Victor, that's why Victor's just like, Yuri, we gotta burn that tie. Because he doesn't understand what he said.
There's still that barrier, it's great.
Oh God, it's so good.
Because I didn't understand, because I was like, do you not understand what Yuri is trying to tell you through the TV screen?
Literally doesn't.
That's the only thing you thought of was, honey, your tie, not working for me.
We need to put a pin in that for episode 10.
Yes,
we need to put a pin in that.
Yes.
Okay,
we do.
I need to remember that.
Yes.
Very important.
That would explain a lot.
The reason that this just like speaks to me so much is because I don't know. I feel like, and again, we talked a little on the last episode, I know, Alexis, you weren't here, about the fact that you could, like, sort of interpret Yuri as being asexual romantic. I mean, and certainly I don't think that's the case, and the series certainly supports otherwise. But like, I think that, and this is a conversation I've had a lot about, oddly enough, Sailor Moon as well, specifically the character of Sailor Mars, who is another character who it's kind of like she, in the manga, and in Sailor Moon Crystal, she doesn't really ever show any romantic interest in people. And I think that Yuri is kind of a similar character from the point of view that, like, he's just got other stuff going on, and he's not really concerned about relationships or romance, like, until he meets Victor, and like, Victor is the first person who's ever like cared about romantically. And for me, the reason that I connect with this so much is because, like, and I mean, you guys are all like married or engaged, but I connect with this so much because I am constantly hounded by people being like, well, you know, why aren't you dating more people? And you know, why?
Those questions take on different forms once you're different sort of question. But so we understand.
But it's just basically, it's like, because I feel like I'm kind of like Yuri, and I mean, I identify as mostly straight, but I just feel like I haven't ever met anybody that, like, I've wanted to hold on to, you know what I mean? So I just love that this series, like, calls that out, that like, that's okay.
That's possible.
You know,
that's a thing.
and you know, and again, let's put a pin in this for episode 10. But that like,
so many pins.
It's like a murder board. With the string goes to this. We'll figure it out.
And that it's like, you know, when you do meet somebody that, like, makes you feel that way, like, you'll want to make the time for them, and you'll want to hold on to them, and I've just never felt that. So,
and it doesn't matter, because at the same time, like, from everybody who is married to single to engaged or dating, relationships are hard, man. They're hard.
Shout out to Courtney in the chat who says that exact same thing.
I was just thinking it, and I was just
like,
are
hard.
It's how it is. You haven't found that thing, or if you're already in it and you're just, you know, it's there's levels. It's just like a game. You know, never-ending game. Yeah, it's a never-ending game.
That's a different show, and we don't have an after show about that.
Sorry, you do not.
Shout out to Kiss Him, not me.
But we do have this wonderful Yuri On Ice after show, and a really good episode to talk about now. So let's move into episode 6.
That was so guttural.
Okay.
But really quickly, because I know both of you host the Bob's Burgers after show, people in chat have been saying Tina would be all over the show. And I said, you know, Tina's favorite, Chris.
Yes. Oh my God, so true. Every time he comes on my screen,
I need an adult man in my life.
I actually think that like, Chris's soul is, like, in Tina's body somewhere.
That mature Eros is in Tina.
Or can we put Chris's hair on Jimmy Jr. when he's doing the dance?
Oh my God, my life, just my whole brain.
Sorry, we're crying. Put a pin in it. Put a pin in it.
Anyway, so this show.
My brain. You started this.
So, like, this is a really great show all the way through. It's very strong. But I forgot, like, how much it, like, kicks it up at episode 6. Because at this point, we're seeing them compete in the Grand Prix final series of events. So this is the Cup of China that they are participating in. We find out that in the Skate Canada, Yuri Plisetsky has taken second place, so he will definitely be progressing in the Grand Prix final to the next event. Though he was beaten by the Canadian skater Jean-Jacques Leroy. More about him as we get a little further into the show.
Real quick.
But in the Cup of China, there are a whole bunch of new characters that we, like, really meet. So we've seen a lot of them in the background before, and they are the other skaters that are coming in the event. The most important of them, of course, being
Sorry,
the...
I don't know. Sorry, I just read the chat. I was like, am I wait?
I'm gonna rephrase that. Not most important. Most important to Yuri of all of them is Pichi Chulano, who is a Thai skater. He also trained with Celestino, aka Chow Chow, in Detroit at the same time as Yuri. Great. So he and Yuri are actually really good friends. And so it's fun to see the two of them get to interact with one another in many ways. In a matter of speaking. There's a great moment in the beginning of the episode where basically like Yuri's being interviewed and like Victor is so dead set on the fact that he wants to go eat hot pot. Like he literally keeps interrupting Yuri's interviews.
But I'm also with the rest of the characters. I am not a fan of hot pot.
Well, it's Guang, the Chinese skater, who actually specifically is like, I don't like hot pot.
I'm with you, buddy.
but so basically, so we see Pete Cheat beforehand, but we do get to see him actually come and like hang out with Yuri and Victor. I have a question for you guys because Yakov, Victor's coach, is there with another Russian skater who we'll talk a little bit more in just a moment.
Oh my god, so excited!
But basically, so Victor sees Yakov and like tries to go like chat with him and give him a hug, and he's like, "You want to go eat hot pot with us?" And he was like, "Stop pretending to be a coach, you garbage person."
So angry about it.
Dad, why?
I love me, Dad.
I thought you'd be proud of me.
And Victor's like, "Well, Yakov doesn't want to come with us." But like he basically, as far as I can tell, like gives up. Like I'm unclear as to why Peachy was at the hot pot place. Like, did somebody invite him? Because I sort of felt like Victor and Yuri were there like semi on a date. You know what I mean?
I have a sneaking suspicion that Yuri might have been like, help. Like, I'm so uncomfortable. I need a third wheel right now because I'm just trying to focus, but he's getting drunk and he's getting close. His clothes are coming off. Come on.
I felt bad for Chajo because he's sitting on the edge of the table. I couldn't tell if he was just drunk, passed out.
He was wasted.
Okay, I wanted to make sure because I was like, does he need medical assistance?
I think they tried to.
Wait, Celestino?
Yeah.
Maybe he said that type of food doesn't agree with him, so I think he was a mixture of sick.
Yeah, I thought he got sick because usually when you see that foam, it usually means that they got sick. So I was like, did you just get drunk?
I just interpreted it as everyone got wasted.
But I love that Pachit is just like snap.
Oh my god. No, but that was
the social media king.
He's the selfie king.
Yeah.
He's just like selfie stick.
And that was the thing was like I felt like Yuri's plan. As you say, Mark, I think that's a really good theory that he's like, I just need somebody else here because like this is getting out of control. But his plan totally backfires on him because Pachit's like, oh, hey, you want to see Chow Chow, right? Yo, Leo, Guang, you guys should totally go to hot pot with us.
I love how like the younger skaters were like, I don't think we're old enough to be here. Pants and underwear.
This makes me uncomfortable.
Actually, this episode specifically, another friend of mine was like, "Oh yeah, I've been. A lot of people have been recommending Yuri On Ice to me. Like, I don't know, maybe I'll start watching it at work." I was like, "Oh no, don't want to do that."
Episode one.
Yeah, there is a
butt naked.
There's a lot of butts in this show. Yes, but we also do meet Guang Hongyi, who is the Chinese skater, who is very young. It is theorized that he is perhaps based on a actual Chinese skater named Boyang Jin. Jin made his senior debut during the 2015-16 Grand Prix season and received silver medal at the 2015 Cup of China.
Awesome.
Does not. Oh wait, nope. I'm not going to spoil anything. And then I forgot that we're not talking about 6 and 7.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yes. And then this past spring, he won the International Skating Union World Figure Skating Championship in Boston, and he got a bronze overall, as Guang Hong was supposed to have done, like in the last national skating season. So definitely a lot of similarities.
I like it.
There, and Guang's got a friend in the American skater, Leo de la Iglesias, which I have to tell you, I am thrilled that the American skater was not a white guy.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
I was very happy about that.
Wonderful.
I was like, yeah, get it in there.
Yeah, and there is actually an American.
More on that later.
Okay. Yes, more on that later.
Yeah. Yes. But there, and then it's theorized that he may be based on the American skater Jason Brown, who, like Leo, his strength is not in his jumps, but in his expressiveness. He did not win gold at Skate America, unlike Leo, who was supposed to have won gold at Skate America, which is what progressed him to, to the state that he is at this point in the Grand Prix final, where he is in very good standing. Like at this point, he stands to very likely win this competition and progress on to the next level of the Grand Prix final. We also meet the Russian skater.
Who do we meet? No, not Russian. Swiss.
Oh no.
Russian skater Georgi.
Oh, Georgi. Sorry, I was looking ahead of you.
I was saving the best for last.
Oh Lord.
Georgi Popovich.
Oh my goodness.
Who's Tristan from Yu-Gi-Oh! In a former life.
Yep. Thank you. I thought I was the only one that picked up on that. I'm so glad.
Don't worry about it, you.
Oh my god.
It's bad.
It's bad.
But yes, he
that makeup though. Can we talk about that?
He makes some choices.
He really wanted to show that he was enveloping the darkness.
Yes.
Well,
because basically he's supposed to have been broken up with.
Also, his ex-girlfriend, is hot.
Oh yeah, Anya. She's supposed to be an ice dancer.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And they used to be like, well, from his perspective, they were like this beautiful social media couple.
It was perfect.
It was perfect.
True love.
Oh, I know.
In his eyes.
Exactly. His character. I was watching this episode with my roommate, and she was like, "Oh, I understand why she left him."
I think we all understood.
Yeah. I felt so bad. I was sitting there going, "Oh man, buddy, you just love too much. It's okay. Too much.
Dial it back. So I like that they chose to portray like the dude as the like crazy one in the relationship
Yes,
who like
it was really
completely
funny.
misinterpreted it, because that's so much more often we see girl characters who are like interpreting these great romances that aren't real, and like that's what we see in Georgi.
But I also love from Yurio's perspective, he's just like, is he really crying? He's really into his choreography. Like, this is too much.
And the girls too are like, oh my god, he's actually crying.
like, wow, I feel so bad for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
And she's there. Wow.
She is, yeah. She's also supposed to be competing.
Yeah,
She's
and I was
sitting
like,
in the audience.
But I love it because I couldn't really, because you can tell she was embarrassed, but at the same time, I love how the guy was just like, it's okay.
I'm so sorry you had to deal with him.
It's gonna be fine.
Oh man,
my best.
yeah, I was just kind of like,
But yes. And then last but not least, he was very sad he was not invited to the Hot Pot
upset.
event where
I'm so sorry for burying the lead.
Victor got wasted and stripped. We're introduced to the Swiss skater Christoph Giacometti.
guys, I don't have the mental capacity to talk about how amazing and terrible this is.
And I would like to point out, that the way in which we are introduced to this character, whom we have previously seen in the background because he won silver in the Grand Prix final last year, as well as in nationals,
And on Instagram.
and on Instagram.
Yes.
Yep. The way we were introduced to this character, the first time we ever hear him speak, he literally just sidles on in and he doesn't even grab it. He just like strokes Yuri's ass.
Yup, just straight up. I was like, hello, and I was just like, I should not be watching, because I was watching these at work. That was my problem, because I was like, I don't have enough time. I need to watch while I'm on my, nobody look at my screen. Nobody look at my screen.
Bad idea.
So bad.
You like put your jacket over the screen. And just like,
I was just like, I wasn't watching that. Like, my boss came over and he's
you
like,
watching porn?
No, I love it. My boss knows that I watch anime at work, so he's like, bad scene, wasn't it? I was like, yeah, Food Wars in this is not a good thing to watch at work.
No.
Yeah, I made that mistake. I don't watch it at work anymore. But yeah, but I got my boss hooked, so that's really funny.
Yes.
So his quote was, "That was too much butt that I could handle." That was what when he got to this
so
episode.
said the world.
No, I think some part of the world was like, "I'm okay with this."
I want a butt.
Chris.
Oh, Chris.
Yes,
Now,
indeed.
Chris is having a little trouble feeling motivated this season.
Sure about that?
Because
It's all right.
he really wants to skate against Victor. He lost to Victor in 2 events last season. Victor got gold and he got silver. And so like he sees Victor as kind of his rival in a way, and he's like the one to beat, and that like motivates him. So he's feeling really sad that Victor is not going to be skating this season. Chris.
He's Victor's Yurio.
Yeah.
Because like it's still it's like friendly competition.
Yeah.
I mean, just for the sake of our boys, I hope it never gets as friendly as Chris and Victor seem to be.
Yes.
But you know what? Different strokes.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up. Did you have to? That was legitimately not intended. Let's put a pin in that to episode 10. We'll talk about it later.
Cool.
I'm dying.
If nothing else, from watching this episode of the Yuri on Ice After Show, if you've not watched all the way through the end, you're really excited about episode 10 because we keep referencing it.
We got 2 weeks until we're talking about episode 10.
Okay, so let's so basically, you know, we meet Chris. We learn a little about his issues that he's having, and that actually inspires Yuri.
Yes.
Because Yuri comes to this realization that the world wants to see Victor skate.
Yes.
And they're never going to be satisfied with him.
I'm sorry, with a person who has anxiety, that is a huge bomb. That is going to be in your head for a good amount of time until you talk to the person. It sucks.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it flips a switch in Yuri, wherein he decides that if the world is going to be so upset that Victor is not skating, then he wants to be hated as the person who took Victor away from the world.
Which for somebody with low self-esteem, that is an amazing breakthrough.
yeah.
That is an amazing breakthrough.
It usually takes weeks sometimes for you to get through to that. I'm so proud of him. That's insane.
It could have easily gone the opposite direction.
yeah.
Where it was just a complete meltdown where you're like, oh God, no, I don't know what to do, cannot handle this. So you go, Yuri.
I'm happy for you, buddy.
Attaboy.
And it's damn sexy, too.
Okay, someone needs to clarify for me, though.
Yes.
When he hit, oh my gosh, I'm forgetting.
Manami?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that was
Manami
on the butt
back.
or on the back?
It was
Okay,
on
I
the
thought
back.
on the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, good job, son.
Yeah, because his hand was on his back, but people were telling me it was his butt, and I was like, I think that
he
would have been
didn't-
more prominent.
Nah, he didn't slap Manami's butt.
Okay,
He slapped
just
his
wanted to
butt.
make sure.
No.
Yeah, just a typical
There was
slap in the back.
no butt touching until this episode.
It was just hard because like the fact that because when his whole body shivers, people were like, wait, what? And then he was gripping his back. So I was like, okay, I just wanted to clarify.
Ninetail Phoenix in chat says Yuri became the baddest bitch.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
It's like, gotta work, girl.
yes, but-
Gotta work, girl.
I want to point out, and this is kind of just like showing, because a lot of this show again is about like Yuri kind of learning to embrace his sexuality and explore his sexuality. So up to this point, his narrative for Eros was I'm the sexy Katsudan who enthralls men.
I'm a Katsudan Fatan.
I'll never get over that.
But and up to this point, he was using atashi, which is a very, very feminine way of saying I. He switches back to boku in this episode, so he's embraced the sexuality as being part of him, Yuri.
Yi in the chat was like, wait, did Yuri lick his lips in that episode? Yes,
Yup.
he did. I was just like, okay.
Oh yeah.
Get it
no,
in there.
before he starts a short program, and this one is this is when he grabs Victor and is like, never take your eyes off.
You watch me. Okay, all right.
It's so good.
I was like, it's hot and I'm so excited.
And he gets the highest score he's ever gotten on a short
Personal
program.
best. Good for the boy. Good for the lad.
It's so good.
Good for the lad.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the thing is, and you see this in Yuri, and you see this in Leo in this episode too, of these two characters that just like jumping and stuff is not necessarily their strong point.
Yeah.
A lot of the technical skills. It's a little bit like Jodie in the movie Center Stage.
Oh my god.
Nice pull.
Who is not technically great, but she just can't take your eyes off her, and that's what Yuri is in this episode. I mean, he nails all the technical stuff this time around too, but like the short program's not as technically complicated as the free skate.
Yeah.
But it's so good. I found it very sexy.
I was very happy. I was like, this is great. I'm so glad.
Well, and I love his reaction too when like Victor is thrilled.
Oh, yeah.
He is thrilled with this performance, and they're sitting over in the kiss and cry, and Victor's like, Yuri, aren't you like so happy? And he's like, I hope that other people would have felt good watching that program. And Victor's like, of course they did.
That's another big breakthrough too. Is like he's of course concerned about how other people think about him and his performance.
Right.
But it's less like I hope I didn't screw up, and I hope I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, and it kind of stopped being entirely personal.
Yes.
Because before, Yuri really did skate for himself, and it was a way for him to unwind and express himself. And now it's like, no, I hope everyone else feels what I'm feeling. So it's another way of opening up a little
Pure
bit.
sex.
Well, I mean, in this case,
Something like love.
Something like love. Very good. Something regarding love.
Yes. But let's talk about the other short programs that we do get to see. We don't really get to see Guang's short program. You just sort of hear it in the background.
Yeah.
You do get to see Peacheats. Let's talk about. So basically, Peacheat is. Bears some similarities to a Filipino skater named Michael Christian Martinez, who was the first Southeast Asian skater to participate in the Olympics. And that is a big theme in the show, is that like Peacheat is the first like, you know, Southeast Asian skater to ever compete in the Grand Prix final. Like, it's a big freaking deal. And I love that they make it a really big deal. Again, like this, they have such a diverse cast of characters in this, and I like that they're calling that out.
Yep.
But so there's, in this world, there is apparently a film called The King and the Skater. And
It's not The King and I. Not The King and I.
No, in my brain, it's like the gay Bollywood figure skating version of The King and I.
Sure,
Wouldn't
that
be
was the first thing.
Bollywood or Thailand?
Whatever the Thai
Yeah.
equivalent of Bollywood is, but I
Yeah.
imagine it's like that level of production
Yeah.
number. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
But so yeah, the name of the song is "Shall We Skate," and like this is this song that
Yeah,
like
every time. That song's gonna be stuck in my head forever.
forever.
It's infectious.
I'm obviously gonna listen to it in my car when I drive out from here. But like Peacheat, it's another. So basically, he's always wanted to skate to this song because it's the actor in the movie is supposed to be a Thai actor, and so like this movie is just like inspired him his whole life. I have read some interesting I think I saw some on Twitter where people had like typed notes of their like fake plots of this movie.
That's pretty cool. That's
amazing. I want to read it.
Yuri On Ice season 2 is just
It's just all of that.
It's just the note. It's just the movies.
Yeah.
It's just the movies spread out.
That would be great. I would watch that. Take my viewership. It's
I would
fine.
definitely watch it. But yeah, so and Peacheat's thing is that like he's just got like charisma is really what it boils down to. I mean, he's a very good skater, but like the audience just loves him.
Yeah, they were clapping the entire time.
Yeah.
It was great.
Yeah, he's a little, you know, he's the little Instagram star. He's the he's the fan favorite.
Yeah.
And,
I love it.
Yeah, he's too good for this world. And he winds up in third place by the end of this episode. So he definitely is in a good position to potentially and Peacheat. So basically, the way that qualifying for the Grand Prix final works is it's based on like your overall score compilation.
Yeah.
So for example, like Chris has come into this season in a very good place, so he doesn't actually have to do that well in order to advance. Peacheat has to get silver or better in this event, or he's not going to advance to the next level.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he hasn't won anything at this point. So, but he's in a good place. It looks like he's maybe gonna make it through, which is
got
good.
high hopes.
We do. We also get to see Leo de Iglesias' short program, where he skates to the song "Still Alive," which is a fake pop song.
It made me think that it was going to be Still Alive from Portal, which I was like, how did they get that license?
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
And he's just going to be in like a techno suit and just like, it would be a triumph.
Where's this performance?
It'll happen.
I want
Looking
it.
for that one.
Yeah.
I want it.
Yeah.
I'm here for
Tumblr,
that. I
Tumblr,
am
give
here
it
for
to
that.
me.
Do it.
dress him like Atlas or Peabody, whatever.
That'd be great.
Yeah. But Leo, again, we know he was supposed to have won Skate America. He's also in a really like good place coming into this competition, and he delivers a very good short program because again, a lot of the short program is about like that. We see, you know, that a lot of the high scoring that happens, at least in this show, with the short programs, is all based on that performance element, which, you know, Leo, like Yuri, it's like he's creating music with his body.
Yeah.
And just, you know, it's
takes a lot.
exciting to watch.
Yeah.
So he ends up finishing second at this point in the competition. We do, of course, see good old Georgi's.
I love this. I love this performance because I didn't. The first time watching through, I didn't exactly understand until about halfway through that. I mean, I probably should have because of the way he was dressed. That he was Maleficent. That he was the dragon until he started. He was just like, "Oh, our love was pure, and I'll get you back, but I'll make you hate everything." It's like, whoa,
It's okay.
And then I was reacting the same way as the girls in Rush. Was just like, "Oh my god, this is so sad."
I felt so bad. I just wanted to give him a hug after.
Oh, wait. Actually, I think Yorgi ends up finishing second, and
Yorgi
finishes second. Leo finishes third, and Peachy finishes fourth. So
at the end of this one,
he's still in a place where he could come back. But but I forgot that Yorgi's short program actually goes pretty well.
He nailed everything, and it was great.
Terrifying.
He lost points for crying.
Someone needs to. I feel like he saw Smokey Eyes in a magazine, and he tried it, and it did not.
Yeah, but he went it was like raccoon more than anything. I was just like, are you gonna steal something? Like, what's happening? The hearts of America. That's what he wanted.
I think you're kind of wondering how kind of free Yakov is with kind of letting him do that.
Yeah.
That is true.
That's cool. You go ahead and do that kind of stalkerish routine. Maybe keep your eyes up like that.
I think he was just kind of like, if you really want to do it, just go.
Dude.
I'm really upset that Victor's gone, so just whatever. I don't care. I got Yuri. I've got
something for attention. He wanted something to get the attention back on the Russians, and at the same time, we didn't see Yakov at all during the performance. Right. So I would have loved for him to just be like, this is so weird. Whatever, he's nailing his jumps. That's fine.
Whatever he needs to do to again, as you say, Mark, get the attention back
on the Russians.
And it did, and he already knew. He's gonna sweep the floor, and he didn't even we didn't even think about what his actual routine was gonna look like.
Corin Yee in chat says, next to Chris, Georgi terrifies and worries me.
Yeah, no, sweet summer child, I want to give you a hug.
But also very stern talking to.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Sit
about
down.
Stalking and personal boundaries.
We gotta work on that one.
Yeah. And then, of course, the final short program that we see in this episode.
I always feel bad for Mark. As soon as this episode came up and we all saw this, I looked at Mark. I immediately got off my phone after watching it, text Mark and went, "Are you okay?" Because immediately he was just like, "Butts."
Butts.
Butts. There was no words. Just butts.
Okay, so did we say it on air? Who voices Chris last?
No, we didn't.
We did. We did it in the last episode. So yeah, if you guys don't know, if you didn't watch the last episode, or you need a little reminder, if any of you are familiar with a little anime series called Dragon Ball Z.
It's my first anime I ever saw, man.
25 plus years.
Oh my god, it's great.
The character of Vegeta, the Prince of the Saiyans, has been voiced.
Everyone knows how much I love Vegeta.
Has been voiced by a very talented and kind and wonderful voice actor who's been working with Funimation for a very long time by the name of Chris Sabat.
Yes.
I told the story on the last episode, but discovered that he was voicing this character when he tweeted at me asking me if Kristoff was my favorite, and I was like, oh no.
One, it's my favorite story Emma's ever told me in my life. Two, Vegeta is my favorite of all time Japanese and American.
Okay.
So
something that'll kind of make it the blow a little bit easier for me, because I'll say he creates the fact that he is he has voiced this iconic character Vegeta for 25 years, and he can still create these iconic characters like Red vs. Blue season 14. He's only in 3 episodes, but he has a really cool, fun character. And now in this show, he has a very creative, fun, interesting, provocative. The fact that he is a pro's pro, and I gotta hand it to him. But for the love of God, some of the crap that this man has said as the character Chris, I can't get out of my head. And I'm throwing this out to you, Chris. Love ya. If you could re-record some of these as Vegeta.
yes, please. please.
Just ruin everyone.
I would I never asked for it.
Except for the last line. God damn. For the love of God. But I will say, like, we talk about the animation. We talk about the rotoscoping.
Yeah.
Who did the butt shot for the rotoscoping?
I want to know who.
And where is that original footage?
They've got a good butt.
Nice.
Oh man,
They've got a really good butt.
Good work, everyone. Congratulations.
Oh, I know. It's just
Beautiful.
that this is the thing is that like I feel like this short program like makes me really uncomfortable, but in a really good way.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is the best way that I could describe
I
that.
feel because like Minako is there and she's like just waving the Swiss flag. Because mature Eros is Kristoff's specialty.
Dude, but at the same time, when he said that, it's just like, it's on.
Yeah,
It's on.
it's on. But I love that he even
was
said
on.
that he's like, oh, your Eros was very good, but it doesn't compare to mine. And I was like, what does he mean by this? And I was just not ready.
Yeah.
And they showed you.
Like,
Nobody was ready.
Let me know.
Like,
It's
suddenly,
burned into my brain now.
Chris is interested in the competition again because he sees this threat in Yuri's kind of like innocent sexuality. Oh my god,
I can't. I'm so glad I don't have a cup of water right now because I need everything to fan me. All of the fans.
Yeah, it's a good time. But Kristoff, as we learn through some narration from him and from Yuri and from Victor as well, is that because they all know Kristoff pretty well. They've competed against him quite a lot. Is that he's kind of a slow starter, so he tends to do a lot better I know.
So he's slow to start, so he's more of a grower.
Right.
I love you so much.
So he tends
God,
to do
I hate
better.
myself.
Tends to do better in the free skate
so much.
than in the short program. So Yuri does end up finishing at the top.
So does Chris. Chris ends up finishing too, but not as high.
This got out of control. But anyway, yeah. So Yuri is in first at the end of this episode, and everyone's excited but a little nervous because Yuri's not used to being in first place and being the one to.
Yeah.
right.
So it's going to be interesting going into the next.
But I like that he said that it didn't matter that that he was. I think he was what, fifth? I think no, not fifth. Who was?
Chris is in fifth, yeah.
So he was in fifth, and he was like, "It's okay, I can go back up in rank later." And like, I like that it didn't phase him. He was just kind of like, "It doesn't matter, I'll come back," you know. And I was like, "All right, good for you."
He's got a essentially, as long as he doesn't fall, he's got essentially a guaranteed spot in the Grand Prix finals.
Right.
Also, quick shout out to Pachit. Is just made does the ice look pretty wet? Terrifying.
That was amazing.
I was not ready for
was
that
amazing.
line. I was like, "What does that even mean?"
Pachit, you're pure.
I know. I was like, but I love also that Victor. Sorry, Stacey, since you're next to me, I love how he was just like this.
Oh, I know.
Just watching, and then everybody else's face was red, and I was like, "What is going on?"
I also loved, just to jump back to episode 5 for a second, the moment where right before the free skate, after Yuri has like been encouraging Minami, and Victor's like, okay, I forgive you, and he's like, your lips are chapped, and he comes up and like, puts chapped, and Minami is all of us.
He just breaks, just like the entire time was just like, "What's happening? Oh my God, is this real?"
Yeah,
It was great.
Yeah, Minami starts as us, and then we get to finish the show with Peachy being us.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. I enjoyed that.
It's so good.
I agree with Quirky Girl 22. The kids all look terrified.
Yes.
After the
I know, all the 17,
traumatized.
19-year-olds. But guys, like, I gotta tell you, I really feel like, and I feel like there's stuff in the next couple episodes too that kind of, or as they come back later, I just feel like Leo and Guang, like that's a romance.
That's pure.
That's definitely
that's
a romance
it.
that's happening.
I'm okay with this.
And there's some stuff in the next episode with those two that we'll talk about as well once we get into our next episode. One thing I wanted to address from the hashtag that actually happened right before our last episode, but I didn't see it. I'm sorry, I was neglecting it. But Dalton asked for resources on like where to keep up with figure skating and find out about figure skating. Basically, every country has like a national figure skating association, and so like the U.S. one is like the so it's U.S. so USSA. FA.
Right.
So it's USSAFA.com. It's US Skating Figure Association. basically just the initials for it.com, and that has like all the most up-to-date information on figure skating stuff. And then if you're looking for any like really epic performances, they're all on YouTube.
Yeah, I did check them out.
Yeah, I mean, like the Olympics has like an official YouTube channel, so you can definitely find lots of good stuff there. A little tiny bit of news and gossip that I'm just going to
Don't need to hit the cue. Don't need to hit the
classify
cue.
that as that. You don't need the cue or anything. But basically, Crunchyroll is conducting the 2016 Anime Awards. Yep. You can start voting now, actually, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I voted today.
Excellent. And Yuri On Ice is nominated for several awards. Anime of the Year, Best Boy, Yuri Katsuki has been nominated. Not Best Male Character, Best Boy.
Hey, he's a best boy.
Best Animation, Most Heartwarming Episode is Episode 7, which we'll be discussing
about next week.
I don't know if I agree with that nomination specifically, but it is a good episode. Best Couple, oh, come on. You all know. And then also Best Opening and Best Closing. So go vote for Yuri On Ice.
Sure.
Yuri On Ice lost his most popular anime to ReZero, and that's not okay.
Whatever.
I mean, yeah.
Whatever.
Go vote for Yuri On Ice.
Yeah, vote for it.
It's amazing.
Do it.
Yes. So, with that said, we are out of time, which is such a bummer because I could just talk about this show all day long.
All day.
But we will keep talking about it next Monday, 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, same place, right here on AfterBuzz TV. Until then, Alexis, where can people keep up with you on the internet?
You can find me all over social media, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff at aTorres890.
Stacey Shuttleworth.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Stacey Shuttles.
Mark Donica.
Find me on Twitter at Mark B. Donica. Leave us reviews on iTunes. We did get one this week. We're going to read it next time just because we're out of time. But leave us reviews. We will shout you out. It helps us out, and it helps us stay up in the standings. Thank you to everybody who's been watching over these past couple of weeks. You've been making this one of the top shows on AfterBuzz. We appreciate it.
I know, and I did even bring the iTunes review up, and we just didn't have time to read it.
We'll do it next week.
Keep leaving us iTunes reviews. Maybe next week we'll have 10 to read, and then we'll really run out of time. I'm Emma Fyffe. I can be found all over the internet at my name, Emma Fyffe. Follow me on Twitter. You'll know everything I'm doing because I tweet a lot, and I tweet a lot of gifs of this show and feelings and thoughts, and just follow me on Twitter, guys. Again, thank you so much, everyone who joined us live on YouTube in the live chat. You guys are awesome, and we will see you guys all again next week. Bye!
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
But see you later!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.